Who wants to tell me what would be a first step to find what's the relationship for these two lines? Right, let's see. Who wants to tell me what to do with this problem? I see.
Do you have to turn one of the equations into y equals mx plus b form?
Mm-hmm. Very good. One suggestion is to write this as y is equal to mx plus b. By doing this, then we can see the coefficient of x, and that would be the slope. Because by looking at the slope, we can see if these two lines are parallel or perpendicular. To do that, we basically need to solve for y. So let's take a look at the first line. The first line, we have 12x is equal to 10y plus 2. If I solve for y, I can subtract 2 from both sides of the equation here. Then I would get, on the right hand side, I get 10y. Left hand side, you get 12x minus 2. So let's write this as 10y is equal to 12x minus 2. And to solve for y, we need to divide each term here by 10. So we have y is equal to, we can reduce this, half of 12 would be 6. Half of 10 would be equal to 5. So it would be 6 over 5 x minus 5. Okay, so the slope for this line here is 6 over 5. So I can find the slope. Let's take a look at the second line. Again, stop me if you have any questions, anyone. You can put the X in front of your name, then I know you have a question.
Wouldn't that be 1 over 5?
1 over 5. Okay, let's fix that. Let me go ahead and you have 12 over 10. So you're talking about this one right here. Would be 1 half of 10 would be 5. Very good. Yeah, you're right, Kim. That would be 1 over 5. Well, this would be 6 over 5. And that is your y-intercept, by the way. Alright, while we were talking, more students are logging in. Victor, go ahead and enter in the chat box, I'm here. Alright, everybody okay with that so far? The slope is 6 over 5, and the y-intercept is minus 1 over 5. Okay, let's take a look at the second line. Minus 24 plus 20y is equal to 2. You're going to solve for y. Solve for y. We can add 24 to both sides of the equation. So here we have 20y is equal to on the right hand side we get 26. So if I divide each term by 20, okay, y would be equal to Am I missing an X here somewhere? Let me look at my problem that I originally had in my paper. I want to know if I meant to do this or it was a mistake. Yeah, it's supposed to be X somewhere here, so let's just I meant to put X here. Sorry. Minus 24x plus 20y is equal to 2. So let's correct all these. Delete. Alright. To solve for y, there's an x here that's missing. So here we have to add 24x to both sides of the equation. So we have 20y is equal to 24x plus 2. Now we're going to solve for y by dividing each term by 20. So y would be equal to 24. Let's reduce that. We can write this half of. That would be 12. Let's do it here. That would be 12. That would be 10. Then do it again. That would be 6. That would be 5. We can do it one step. Looks like we get the same slope again. Here we have 6 over 5x plus, and then you get 1 over 20, which is equal to, with 2 over 20 would be 1 over 10. Okay. These are more students logging in late. Those of you just logged in while I was going over this problem, please enter in the chat box, Angel, just enter I am here. That way I get your name for attendance. Alright, so the slope here would be also 6 over 5. So to find the slope, we would write the equation in this form, and then you look for the slope, and it looks like the slope are the same. So what would be the relationship between these two lines? Anyone?
They are parallel.
Very good. They're parallel. So that would be the one we check. Now, if two lines, I talked about this on last session we had, if two lines are parallel, L1 and L2, their slope would be exactly the same. If the slope of the first line is A over B, the slope of the second line also would be A over B. If two lines are perpendicular, somebody tell me what is the relationship between their slope? If the slope of this line here is A over B, what's the slope of the other line? Okay, the volume type B over A. Victor?
Opposite.
Would be negative and reciprocal, right? That would be negative and reciprocal. The negative and reciprocal minus b over a. Okay. Classic question would be, if two lines are perpendicular, what would be the product of their slope? What is m1 times m2 would be equal to?
Negative 1.
Very good. That would be negative 1. So if two lines are perpendicular, their product of their slope would be equal to negative 1. Okay. If two lines are parallel, the slope would be exactly the same. Okay. So, can I see a check mark in front of your name, everyone, if you all can follow this concept? You're going to see one problem like that on the test, where you have to find whether the lines are parallel or perpendicular, and that's all you need to do is to find the slope. Once you find the slope, then you can see if the slopes are the same. If they're the same, they're parallel. If they're negative and reciprocal of each other, they are perpendicular. So if the slope of this line here, for instance, is 2/3, if the lines are perpendicular, the slope of the other line must be minus 3/2.